I tell you what, those French boys sure do make some noise. There's a whole lot we can learn from them. Hey kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Over my many years as a guitar teacher and touring musician, I've learned thousands of songs, and they've all taught me something that stuck with me and helped me along the way. Mastering tunes makes us better players, and that's why every guitarist should learn Silvera by Gojira. Hey kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben, and I've been a fan of this band ever since I heard From Mars to Sirius in like 2005. Holy shit, that's 20 years ago. That makes no fucking sense to me. I still think of Gojira as being like a new band. How old are we? What I've always liked about this band is their ability to take really simple ideas and riffs that really any of us could have come up with and just turn them into these incredible, bludgeoning, super memorable tunes. And the one that we're going to be talking about today, Silvera, is a perfect example of that. It's not exactly the most technical song in the world, but there's some really cool stuff going on in the guitar parts, like the unconventional use of tapping, and a couple other cool techniques that are kind of signatures of Gojira's. In today's video, we're going to take a look at all the stuff we can add to our toolbox if we master this tune, and you're going to get even more out of this video if you check out the super extended and ad-free cut over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. People are saying it could be a cult. Now, I'm not going to go on record as confirming or denying that, but I can tell you it's going to be the best buck you spend this month if you sign up today, because that's going to get you access to hundreds of exclusive posts, bonus lessons, downloadable tabs, and so much more. So don't delay. Sign up today over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars, and I'll see you there. Gear-wise for today's video, I am so stoked to be using my brand new Dunable USA Yeti. This is one that I custom ordered from them, and it is absolutely fabulous in that sweet black dog hair finish. I figure my black clothes are always covered in dog hair anyway, so should the guitar, right? This thing is incredible. I've not put it down since I've gotten it. Amp-wise for today's video, I'm once again gonna be relying on the Carstens Amplification EMPIRE. This thing continues to blow my mind. Amazing amp. This is the same amp that I used on that recent Rush Limelight video. And obviously this sounds nothing like that tone. Really tweakable amp, it just continues to blow my mind. And I've got that running through the UA aux. Now, let's get into it. If you learn this tune, you get to tune your guitar down to D standard, or as I like to call it, motley tuning, or sad but tuning. It's like standard tuning, but more lowlier. We got that tuned down one whole step to D standard. In a world where everything in the metal guitar spectrum is getting more and more technical every day, I think there's a lot that we can learn from the main riff of this song and its sledgehammer simplicity. Let's check it out. Riffs like that use a combination of fretted notes and open strings are a great test of your hand synchronization, especially using alternate picking at higher tempos like that. Be sure that as you're playing that you're starting off on a downstroke and ending on an upstroke for every one of those little chromatic walks. You got to make sure that your hands are in agreement about how many notes are being played, and counting the pick strokes like that is a great way to do it. I look at this riff as being like a miniature toolkit of all things metal, right? We got power chords using that flat 2 interval. We got the chromaticism. We got the use of that flat 5, the tritone or the devil's interval. And they even managed to sneak in a Dave Mustaine's signature mega dyad in there. Not to be confused with mega doo-doo.
DD mega doo-doo.
The second riff in the song is also used as the chorus, and it features some really cool tapping. Let's check this out. just think about tapping as something that takes place in like Eddie Van Halen style soloing, but Gojira uses it in their riffs all the time. It's become like a huge trademark of theirs. To make this riff sound right, you're gonna learn a handful of different techniques. So it starts off with the open low string, and that's a perfect time to get your right hand ready to do the tapping. Not myself, I am doing the same thing that the guys in the band do. I'm still holding the pick between my thumb and first finger, and I'm using my middle finger to do the tapping. Whichever finger you end up using, after you do that first tapped note, it's time to lay down the left hand on the 12th fret of that low string, so it can act as kind of a capo that we're going to pull off to here in a second. When you're doing this, the tapping hand has got to lead, so do the tap, and then put the left hand down, not in the opposite order. Now after you do the left hand kind of capo technique over here, you can add in a little bit of vibrato. Now you could do this with the right hand, but my left hand's just a lot more experienced at doing vibrato than my right hand. Or is it? Your mileage may vary. Be sure that as you do those taps that you're doing a little bit of a pull-off in order to sound out that 12th fret note that you're holding down over here. I like to pull the middle finger into the palm slightly to do my pull-off. But if you feel like doing the outward flick like Joe Satriani does, be my guest and do as the bald one does. So that riff is doubled up in octaves. And initially I thought that the other guy must be playing it on a different string or something like this. But after I watched some live videos of this song and I was watching Joe and how he played it, I noticed something else going on. There's a little bit of a better living through technology here, and they're using something that they use all the time, the Digitech whammy pedal. I know y'all love that house shoe camera. Using the Digitech whammy here, I can set that to where whenever I push the pedal down, it takes the note up an octave. And Joe does a hell of a job multitasking live, because not only is he playing that tapped guitar part and singing, but he's also turning that whammy pedal on and off. Now kids, at this point, unbeknownst to him, Uncle Ben's ancient computer had stopped recording his guitar audio. The poor bastard. That there's one coordinated Frenchman. And here's his reaction when he figured it out. God damn you, are you fucking serious? When did you stop? Fuck you. Fuck you, piece of shit. Fucking piece of shit. There's another thing that we can learn from this section of the song, and that's how bass can make stuff more better. Most of the time in metal, bass just doubles whatever the guitar is doing, and he does that whenever it's appropriate. But in this section of the song, he's playing something really simple. Sounds like this. It's extremely simple, and I think there's a lot of players out there that would think of that as being beneath them because it's too easy to play or whatever, but it really suits the song extremely well. It opens up a lot of space. Everything before this riff and after this riff is super punchy, super rhythmic, but this part of the tune really has a lot of space in it. Notice too how he acknowledges that melody at the end of the riff. It's really cool to feel how the bass and guitars kind of split off and then sync back up there right at the end of the riff. The verse takes place over the same riff as the intro, and then we get this follow-up riff, which is f***ing sick. Got some old standbys here. Got our major bar chord shape to our open position major shape. And those two chords are delivered with this like slow rake technique in the right hand. You gotta really resist the temptation to just slam through those chords. 'Cause that's not really what it sounds like. It's almost like you're doing a sweep really fast, you know? that last upstroke is not palm muted. And the way I'm kind of getting off of the strings to get that open sound is by just diverting my elbow slightly behind my body, like this right here. And of course, it wouldn't be a Florida Gojira line song without some big ass gallops. The first chorus of the song takes place over the tapping riff that we talked about earlier, only this time at the end, there's this extra tapping phrase on the A string. Check this out. Kind of like your classic Eddie Van Halen triplets using an open string in the pull-off. And then you move the tapping hand down a step. And yes, I do have the camera framed now so that I can see the red line that indicates that I'm recording on screen at all times. You motherfucking piece of shit computer. The bridge riff of the song might seem simple, but there's some really cool stuff we can learn here. Check this out. The first part of the riff is just muted string noise. I'm adding a little bit of palm muting back here to make those sound really short and choked like that. Then you have this open string dyad, and then you just kind of slide up and down the low string. Gojira has these riffs in their tunes that are just noise. It's like the whole band just turns into like a big rhythmic percussive machine for a second, with these riffs that don't really feature a lot of melody per se. There's a cool songwriting thing you can learn from that riff too, because rhythmically it's the exact same thing as the first riff of the song that you heard. If we reduce that down to just rhythm, it would sound like this. And that's the exact same rhythmic pattern as this riff. I love when bands do this. Metallica is also excellent at doing this. Rather than introduce something that's completely new and foreign to the listener, base it off of something that's already occurred in the song. It could be a melodic figure, it could be a rhythmic figure, whatever it is. Just base it on something that the listener has already heard. It's going to instantly make it feel like it belongs in the song a whole lot more better. And you know, one thing that I would just never have the balls to do in one of my tunes? Just smack the crap out of the open strings and then do some sliding harmonics and just say that's how I'm going to transition into the next part of the song. I would think that is way too elementary to do, but you hear it in action and you realize how awesome the simplicity is. With this band, nothing is off the table. There is no bar for it has to be this technical, it has to be this impressive or hard to play. It doesn't matter. If it sounds cool, if it grooves good, it's good enough for the song. I love that mentality. Next up, we have that musical break in the song. I kind of hesitate to call this a solo because it's kind of more of a repeating melody over a simple riff. It doesn't really feel like a, check me out shreddy solo to my ears. Something that I feel like a lot of metal bands don't take advantage of enough is cool key changes, especially in like the bridge or an instrumental section of the song like this right here. The song so far has centered around that open low string, right? Mostly kind of based around kind of a Phrygian dominant tonality. Especially with those chords, it really implies that D Phrygian dominant kind of sound. But when we get to this section of the song, it's like it jumps up a minor third. And it really changes the vibe of the song, gives it a little bit of a lift because everything is going higher. This has the cool effect of giving your ears something new to hear as home bass, and then it gets way heavier when we go back to the original key center after this. Now over the top of that, we have this pick tapping part. I remember the first time that I learned this technique, it was on Kirk Hammett's solo in One, right? Now that's a song I should do one of these videos on. Let me know if you agree in the comment section. Pick tapping is great because we can use the hard side or butt end of the pick to do the tapping rather than turn our fingertips to hamburger meat. Here's the first pattern that Joe's doing on the lead. As you do that pick tapping, you can really work on your muting. I'm using the interior of my wrist here to mute out the low E, A, and D strings, And then I'm using the undersides of my fingers here on my fretting hand to mute out the B and high E strings. That way the only one that we can hear is the G that we're tapping on. No need to raid your stepmom's boudoir for a hairband to tie around the strings. How's your stepmom doing these days anyway? Tell her I said hey. And I still want my Whitesnake shirt back. You don't really have to worry about doing the pull-off as much. Because the pick is made of such hard plastic, coming off the string will naturally kind of sound it out anyway, a whole lot better than using your fingertip anyway. Now after this, he takes that pattern up an octave here onto the high E string and he starts tapping it really, really fast. I used to be really good at doing the fast pick tapping thing like that, but my skills have faded since I got a girlfriend. I also found another way to do really fast sounding pick tapping like that, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody else talk about this. Check this out. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the tip of the pick as if I was just picking it, right? And I've got it parked right behind the fret wire. If I just motion down like that, as you can hear, it's tapping the note for me. So I can just kind of act like I'm picking really fast while pushing the tip of the pick towards the fret. And because I have the hand kind of anchored down here on the strings, it really lets me just quickly vibrate up and down like that. Just the way your mother likes it. It is really fast and pretty obnoxious sounding, so use with caution, but it works pretty well for this section of the tune. Another thing about this section that I think is really cool is how the melody part stays the same, but the rhythm guitar changes, which makes the melody sound different. The first time around, it's centered around this C. Well, okay, it's a B flat considering the tuning. You know damn well what I mean. And then after that, it's centered more around a G minor, F minor tonality. That's totally like a classical music trick. Play the same melody, change the chords, now it sounds like a new melody. After this, the only other new thing that the band throws at us is at the very end of the tune. They go back to the main riff, but it has a different ending. And again, it continues that theme of rather than introduce something new, just take something that you've already used and repurpose it. They're doing that same chromatic walk that we did earlier, 3 times in a row. Jumping up a step, down a half step, and then back to the original position. Before they wrap it up, send your ass out the door. So there you go, guys, a deep dive into a Gojira classic. I love this tune. It shows you that you don't have to play stuff that's crazy technical or impossible to do to make an awesome, memorable tune. At the end of the day, it's not about impressing other guitar players. It's not about impressing the crowd. It's about writing good songs. And that's something that this band has done better than so many of their peers, and that's why they're one of the biggest metal bands on earth. So study well-crafted tunes like this one, study what makes them work, and start making some of your own. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to experience the real deal and all of its extended and ad-free glory, be sure to check out that cut of this Bad Larry over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Hundreds of posts are waiting for you over there, so don't delay and sign up today. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold right here just for you guys. And don't forget, guys, even a small act of kindness can make a huge difference to somebody else's life. I think we need more goodness and positivity in the world, especially right now. So if you have an opportunity to do something good for somebody this week, do it to it. Well, guys, it's been fun as always, but I reckon it's about time for me to get away from the camera, grab a cold beer, and start relaxing. As for you, I recommend getting your favorite rock guitar, getting to work on this tune, and becoming a more better shredder today. Less clicking, more picking.
That last upstroke is not palm muted.